Okay, ladies and gents, welcome. We are here in the grand finals of the 50K SAX Nations Cup, an event that has gone over for the last month and a half, but there's been some breaks in between. At the very start, everyone was talking about China. Everyone was talking about France. There were some other teams involved in the conversation, obviously, but it really does feel like these teams have been the best team. So if you're ready to see the best countries that work here in Age of Empires 2, that's exactly what we have here. And welcome. Now, real quick, we have to add the flags. I mean, what type of nations event would it be without the flags? Shame on me. We got 4v4 arena to start it off, and a reminder that it is a mix. So for maybe game 2, game 3, there's going to be some 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s involved as well. Margugu for France is playing as the Malay. His pocket is Sizkan, who's playing as the Burgundians. In the yellow, we have Clement playing as the Armenians, and then we have Sito flank Bengalis. Now, I think this is notable choice from Team France already because their best two players are Sito and Margugu, and they have put their best two players on the flank. I would say because flank is probably the most difficult role to play. Arena, you have time, and everyone's really good here, so they're choosing to give maybe their quote-unquote weaker players a little bit more time. China, they've got Lix on the flank. No surprise there is the Burmese. We've got Bad Koala as the pocket, playing as the Bohemians. Then we've got Yo as the pocket, playing as the Cumans, which immediately shakes things up, and we'll get to that. And then we have Vivi on the flank, playing as the Poles. So yeah, the Cumans can go 2 TC Boom and Feudal. We have not seen Cumans played a lot in this tournament, mainly because they've been banned. So the fact that we're now here in the final, and Cumans weren't banned in the Civ draft is interesting to me. Maybe they didn't think China would snipe it. These teams did play each other in the earlier rounds, and France beat China 3-1. But Yo with the Cumans is dangerous. He should have a lot of eco and a lot of knights on the field in the future here. Now, Margugu has a Civ that has done so well in competitive AoE 2 the last few years. Just advancing up fast through the ages is really helpful bonus. Vivi as the Poles. We have seen a lot of tower rushing from the Poles, and I see villagers going to stone now. So I think Vivi's going to try and pressure Margugu there. But yeah, welcome in, everyone. Hello, chatters. And everyone later on YouTube, leave a comment, say hello. Or, I don't know, say what you want, but I'll check the comments later. And, man, if I would have said something of real value, I would have known what to look for. Are we going to do the ice cream thing again? Say your favorite flavor of ice cream? Sure, because I'm streaming it too, so people on Twitch could say their favorite flavor. Mine is, this is a classic for me. I'm chocolate chip cookie dough. That's got to be my all-time favorite ice cream. It's just so good. Moose tracks. Oh man, now we're talking about ice cream. Got the American talking about ice cream, guys. Look what you've done. Oh, okay. Mint chocolate chip is really good. Cookies and cream is really good. Rum raisin? What are you, my grandma? I'm kidding. That's really good, though. Rum raisin is actually underrated, according to my grandmother. All right. So, see, stone as well for Lix over here. Now, this won't be a tower rush. This will be a castle. And Yo's going up fast for the second TC. No surprise. Now, this is not the first time that China have had their two best players on the same side, so they haven't split them up. So Vivi and Yo are almost always together in the 4v4s. On the Arabia game in the semifinals, Lix and Bad Koala played amazing, dude. And that's really what you're going to need. You're going to need all your players to step up today, of course. And you think of all the other squads, right? Argentina, you think of Brazil, think of Finland, think of Vietnam. There were just some games here or there where maybe their third best player or their fourth best player didn't perform at their absolute maximum. France and China just have not had that problem. They have such a well-rounded scene. Scout is here for Sizkan, inside of Margugu's base, interestingly enough. Almost like he expected some pressure. And I love how none of the French players have their scouts outside their walls, because with humans, they're guaranteed to have a feudal age scout, and that scout would kill once they get the upgrades. Margugu's going to be tower rushed here. Now he's going to snag Loom and then click up to Feudal Age. He actually has an amazing map to deal with this type of pressure. All of his gold, all of his stone is towards the back. So it takes a little bit of time to break through, but I like what Margugu's choosing to do here. He's just going to add an extra layer of walls behind. And palisade walls obviously aren't like near as strong as stone walls, but he's going to zoom up the feudal age. Maybe he could shift a couple villagers on the stone himself and think about a few defensive towers here. Because this is just a tower rush. What this isn't is towers and archers or towers and scouts or something. So what you're hoping right now if you're Vivi is that you're seeing a gold or a stone right after you drop the outpost. So you're looking for that. You don't see it. You still have the tower anyways. And there we go. Not a big fan of the tower rush so far for Vivi. Obviously, this is kind of a high... You've no intel whatsoever on what your opponent is going to do. And then you also don't have intel on where the resources are. So, other side's pretty chill by comparison. Margugu is reacting a lot. He's got 11 vills, 12 vills, 13 vills. Like, he's really going crazy here. Now, this could be the nerfs. This is the first game of the final. And France, I think, really like their team's chances. Now, what Margugu tried to do, he actually tried to wall this, so this very thing couldn't happen. So a villager couldn't come through underneath and attack, combined with the villagers here. But he just didn't get the front of the tower. So honestly, I actually really like this so far for China. Just think of the amount of idle time and reactions Margugu has had compared to Vivi. Vivi's brought 6 vills forward, and Margugu, we've seen a dozen moving around at various points here. Now, luckily for Margugu, he has pretty much stopped this from progressing further, which I think you should consider to be fine. Villagers on stone now for Sito, as Sito will go fast castle. Has anyone here ever seen Ratha against Arambai before? I actually have on Arabia. I'm sure you can guess the name of the player if you watch some of my videos. I'm trying to think about... I think it could be fairly even. I actually think the Ratha may be superior, or maybe the Bengalis may be superior just because of their economy. But if the Arambai get close, they do a lot more damage, but then the Ratha have more HP. So, and Margugu adapted to the chaos. We have some scouts showing up. The other players' scouts are showing up to help Margugu out here. Nice teamwork here from France. And yeah, Margugu just wants to take a deep breath here, relax a little bit, and we'll see if this pressure progresses much further. He's on stone, so like he's definitely going to be able to drop another tower if he needs to. But I'm very curious what's happening over here, because you don't add this barracks to add a few spearmen unless you want a forward castle of your legs. And so he wants it on Sito's face. Meanwhile, Yo, up to 42 villagers. 2 TCs are flying. He's dropping a barrack, so he'll eventually add a stable and add some army. He may wish to send knights into Margugu's eco if Margugu is opened up here. So it's kind of important that Margugu keeps the walls down. The defensive tower goes up for Margugu. He somehow hasn't lost a villager yet. I think he lost his scout, but that's not too big a deal because the scouts for the others are all weak. So I'll be... honestly, I like the defense from Margugu, but I've been impressed. Oh boy, it's about to get nuts over here. I have been impressed as well with how much value Vivi has gotten from the attacks. Okay, so here comes the forward castle. There's also a siege workshop from Bad Koala. Now, tell me if Sito could see this. Now, this is something. Sito just thinks this is going to be a castle. Sito doesn't know that it's going to be siege as well. So Bad Koala might make rams, maybe mangonels, and then he could potentially deny this. But I think what they weren't counting on is they weren't counting on Sito going on stone himself. They didn't know that he was mining stone like that. And so the siege doesn't actually... And now we have Licks adding a siege workshop? That's kind of weird. But anyways, I'm not sure if the siege will do a lot here. Oh, we got Fast Imp! Wait a second. Did we miss a sling? Is this... Did we miss a sling? How is Bad Koala on the way up right now? Bad Koala is imping. So this siege workshop is for future bombard cannons. What is this build order here? There has to have been some type of resources shared. Or is this just perfect? Resource Ascent 0. What? Dude, this is an insane build. What on earth is this? I mean, listen, I've watched China for 10 years, right? If there was one criticism, one critique, it would be they don't really practice and lab out unique strats to save for key moments. They're just really, 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 really good, right? You know what to expect from them. You know what their players bring to the table, and they can win anyways. Bad Koala has a 30 population fast imp, and these siege workshops are for bombard cannons, which he can make immediately when he's an imp. This is ridiculous. Now here, Clement, he's going to add some composite bowman. And then here's Sito. Sito is going imp. So Sito thinks right now that he's the god, right? He thinks he's going to surprise the enemy. And, well, there's going to be bombard cannons pushing down Sito's castle. And Sito might not be able to go Trebs. It's actually insane. Over here, we've got a castle from Margugu. Guys, I think Yo is just going to send all of his army to Sito. Like, Sito might just be killed off before we even reach the 25-minute mark. We still have people showing up to the stream right now. Hello, everyone. They're going to get here, and Sito might not exist anymore. He might just be killed. Because it's going to be Arambai, bombard cannons, and then knights on one player. And there is a little bit from Clement. But I'm not sure composite bowmen are enough. Just 40 HP, 4 base attack. There's not many units that could help against everything that's going to be coming here. Now, maybe Yo does try and go this way, but why would he do that? Margugu's already built a castle. This is a bold TC from Vivi. Vivi just town centering right outside the opponent's walls. But yeah, I'm sure that Sito's heart just sunk. And he probably let out a huge WTF when he saw the imp time there. Because this is just not something I've seen really before. Yeah, sure, Bohemian's early imp bombard cannons, that's a thing. But just straight up fast imp is craziness. Sito wanted Trebs. He's 10 seconds away from imp with really good adaptation. And he's going to have no castle to make Trebs. He's just going to have a couple monks. His walls are going to be busted down, and then knights are going to be in. This is rough, man. We'll see if France can hold from this one. But this is a special, special build here. Bad Koala, this whole eco is designed just for bombard cannons and 1 TC build production at that point. That is it. And that's important to remember because his economy is quite weak. And if he were to lose the bombard cannons to the monks, for example, that would be really bad. But yeah, China are like, this guy can't make many more monks. We can just engage all the time, and everything should be fine. Bombard cannons will kill off the monks. The Arambai are here. The knights are here. Sito gets a couple conversions, but there's nothing the guy can do. This is no fault of his own. This is just the enemy playing like monsters here. And Sito's gonna die. Sito is dead. So Sito is gonna die. He is a dead man walking. The only thing that can save him are these tiny little bowmen. And what, they ignore armor? That's not going to be enough. There's still lots more army to come with a lot of economy as well, right? Yo's got 80 villagers, so he could spam knights endlessly. And so what you're hoping for now is because there's 3 players on 1 for China against France. You're hoping that France can return the favor somewhere else. And, like, France needs to go kill somebody very quickly. The issue I see, as a bomber cannon was converted, is that Sito may not actually survive. He may be defeated. Like, guys, we saw a player get defeated in the quarterfinals, and their team still won, which is crazy. I haven't tossed it on YouTube yet. You guys have to see that one if you haven't. But, like, Sito, he's going to be defeated here. I don't know if his team is actually going to be able to win. Now, hold on. Castle for Licks could be denied. They're really focused on killing Sito. Someone says, why does Sito have 6 monasteries? Can we, chat, can we not question anything Sito is doing right now? It's not his fault. This is not his fault. Okay? He's doing what he can. This wasn't part of the plan. Nothing was part of the plan. He's trying to find a way to survive. And the only thing he could think of was making a couple monks. Castle did get denied here, or delayed at least. But Sito is about to be defeated 26 minutes into the game. He doesn't have anything that's escaped. He has no scout. He will have no population remaining. Wait, it says he has 7 vills. Oh, he's got 4 over here. Okay. I mean, they really shouldn't chase him down. It's great for the content. They really shouldn't chase him down. Oh, he's escaping with 2 vills. Okay, Sito's going to be back, guys. Just give him 2 hours. And Sito is going to show you the craziest play you've ever seen. They just need to buy 2 hours for him. Okay, Castle over here for Syscon. He's the top scorer for his team. Crazy eco. He's going to be on Paladin soon. They need to address this because Clement is next. And as I've established, he doesn't have a unit that can fight 1v3. I don't know if anyone does. If anything's going to do it, it's going to be Paladin. But, you know, this may reach a point where even if they're able to kill this big force here from China, it's possible that it's already worth it for China. They already took a player out of the game. There's a monastery for Sito, so Sito's just going to make monks. I mean, he does have 12 range monks. He's the only one that can make block printing monks right now. So it does make sense for him to continue to try. These bombard cannons only have 16 kills, but they have dealt 35,000 damage. 35k. Castles, TCs, monasteries, that'll continue here. It's crazy, dude. This is unbelievable. This is one of the sickest builds I've seen in Team Game Arena in some time. Because normally it's just a bunch of booming or it's a castle drop. Oh, how's Sito doing? Oh no, Sito! Sito, that's his last vill! That is Sito's last villager, but he has a monk. Okay, Sito, run to the enemy eco and convert a vill. Forget the cannons. You need to somehow repopulate. Okay, well, he converted a camel. Okay, uh-oh. Here's the paladins, or what should soon be paladin. 15 seconds. But that's so many knights. So many Arambai. The castle now goes down for Clement. Sito, do they call the GG before he gets defeated now? You don't want to get... At the start of the finals, you might not want to give the opponent the satisfaction. Hide that monk so they can't defeat you, Sito. That's your next play here. He literally only has the monk. A monk in a dream. Meanwhile, Bad Koala is like, okay, I think I've done enough. Let me just boom up now. And he's doing a great job. I am so impressed with him and the rest of China here to start this off. There's Paladin, but look at the differences in the amounts of units. This is a lot of exposed bombard cannons. But there's Cavalier from Yo, there's Camels, there's Arambai, and all the Paladins are being sacrificed to kill the cannons that have already done significant amounts of damage. They already took out the front of Clement's base. They already relegated Sito. Oh, wait, he has a Cavalier now. Oh, but he lost the monk. Oh, my God. Okay. They've relegated Sito to a 1-unit army. So we'll see if Sito can micro this Cavalier like a god. If he doesn't, he is defeated. There's nothing else keeping him in the game. Where is it? I'm very interested in this. Okay, it's just right there. Big push from Vivi. Margugu was trying to get built up here to maybe go help out. And he's getting hit by some units from Yo now. And Vivi's trapping him down. And yeah. And then Clement's still just about to hit Imp. He's going to need more Paladins from Syscon. And China is just so far ahead. Vivi had a crazy boom, by the way. 30 more vills than Margugu. It was also really boldly just booming right outside the walls. Just so much confidence here. And Vivi may lose his trebs here to the Paladins from Syscon, but Syscon is being asked to be everywhere right now. He can't do that. And Sito was just defeated. The Cavalier died somewhere. At least Sito decided to fight for his team, but Sito is defeated. And it is officially 3 left for France to start the final. And now, like, normally you think about Bohemian late game. Look at Vivi here. Vivi's coming from the other side of the map to snag relics right now. Like, what? But yeah, normally you think about the Bohemian late game, right? You could still get to Hoofnitsa and Halb and all that too if you're Bad Koala now. Because now you boom. You've done enough. Now you just catch up in Vils. It's a crazy strategy, crazy game. Lix is still pretty low eco compared to, you know, what it could be maybe. But he's on 3 TCs. He's just got Erenbai, which are more than enough. And, well, over here, Yo in full support of Vivi. Vivi will have Arbalest. Margugu will have Arbalest. But to me, it seems like China has more. And I think France just a little bit stunned right now. Not willing to accept that this is over quite yet. They know it'll be a long series. They were never expecting to sweep China or anything. But they have to accept it now because the right side's dying as well. And the GG's called. And what a start for China. Man, you just can't help but love that. I don't care who you're rooting for, right? That was a sick play. And they saved that for this moment. They didn't use it in the semifinals, which they swept, by the way. They won 4-0 in the semis, by the way. They saved that for this moment. Man, I almost can't believe it. Like, it was so crazy that I actually thought that someone sent bad quality resources. Like 30 Vil Fast Imp is something I remember with Turks in the past. Like an old build that no one really does anymore. Maybe occasionally you'll see it in 1v1s, but I've never seen that in a team game. And it made so much sense. And honestly, what Sato did was beautiful. If the Bombard Cannons aren't there, he probably kills Lix. Because the Erenbai aren't an issue because he has monks. He trebs back the castle. He then has better economy. And normally, Bad Koala is just booming back here. And Bad Koala wouldn't help at all. But the Bombard Cannons killed him. The Bombard Cannons then ended up killing Clement. And then Sizcon couldn't support Margugu. I mean, Vivi also did a really good job on Margugu's side. He probably outperformed there. And then you had Yo. Like, Yo just boomed and made Paladins, which is exactly what you want from the guy. 46-7 KD for Bad Koala, but he did raise 29 buildings. And they were really, really good. Like, important buildings to raise, like castles and town centers and monasteries. And, yeah, what a banger, guys. What a banger to start off the final. And here we are, folks. So, grand finals. Score is 1-0 China after all that. As I said at the start, though, it is a mix of settings. So, China, they could have chosen to go for their champion, Yo, in the 1v1s. But previously, they actually had gone for Vivi. And Vivi beat Vinchester. Vivi beat some big players in the 1v1s. And he's picked the Vietnamese here. And he has gone forward right away. I mean, you know where the opponent's TC is. And he has already stolen some sheep there. So, I think it could be really nice. Arabia these days, especially a player like Sizcon, they're all about their tight build orders. And if you watch Ranked Arabia, nobody lames each other. No one steals resources. They almost forget it's a part of the game. But in ranked tournament, in unranked games or tournaments, when there's tons of money on the line, this is part of the game. And this is what you do with Vietnamese. And Vivi, with basically no hesitation, he's actually laming a board that's on the back. And if he can get home with it, okay, well, he's not going to get home with that. It did feel like he didn't get the 2 hits required on the board for the board to continue to chase. But anyways, Sizcon's fortunate there because losing out on the 300 food could be a bit of a problem for him. He's Saracens. He brought in his other boar. He should still have his 2 boars. He's got these sheep back here, and he does have the deer to push in as well. But Vivi, he also found his resources really, really fast. It looks like maybe he doesn't have these sheep. And he also doesn't see his boar, interestingly enough. But his scout's going to come home eventually. I thought that was the scout, but that is his sheep. Could be a little bit of both, I guess. Matchup-wise, I think this could be pretty close. I think it's a bit more awkward to play the Saracens than any other matchup, though. Just because the Vietnamese have great archers, great cav archers, and I think Saracens are normally a bit stronger against civilizations that play into knights. Now, Saracens have the good archer line as well, even cav archers if they want to go that route. But what you really want is you want to have even the threat of your camels affect how the game plays out. And I don't know if the high HP camels are really a unit you're going to think about using that frequently against the Vietnamese. Sizcon's a great archer player. We've seen him play archers a lot in the flanks in the team games. His style is pretty well suited for that in 1v1s as well. And I think he came to AoE 2. Does anyone here actually know? We might have some people who are French who have followed him. I think he came to AoE 2 like 3 or 4 years ago. I know previously, I don't know how good he was, but I know he played a lot of StarCraft. And just been slowly improving, getting better and better and better. And now this is the finals, and he's up against Vivi, who's been in, I'd say, the top 16 in the scene for 5 years, if not more than that. Vivi's been around a long time, and Vivi's been in really good shape recently as well. It kind of dipped in form here or there over the past few. Because Vivi used to be seen as top 5, or maybe top 10. I would say these days, maybe falls into that 10th to 16th spot. Syscon was 2K2 last year. Nah, I think he was way higher than that. Because I played Syscon a bunch, right? Syscon's been higher than that for a while. Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago he was 2K2, but he's been around a while now. Just compared to like the rest of the Chinese players, he's still a new kid on the block, right? So back wood line, kind of a forward gold. We're going to see this wood line be utilized as well from Syscon. Excuse me. It's going to be 19 pop up here for the Frenchman. And Vivi is going to go 20 pop. And Vivi has tons on food. I mean, this is crazy. But we'll still need to see what his build is. Vivi will probably want to open for something like Scouts. I could see it being a Scout opening for both, actually. No villagers on gold here for Syscon. I think he's able to recover from the lane, by the way, because he pushed in every single one of his deer. So what you want to be able to properly time your buildings and your eco upgrades to move through Feudal Age. If you can do that and still get your farms down and just not have idle time, you're going to be okay here. It's just at the limit, but I think this is still doable for Syscon. I think he does need to maybe skip Horse Collar, though. I think Horse Collar is just not an option on this build without some potential issues with delaying things. Now, Vivi, his Civ doesn't even spend wood on eco upgrades. So he's got all the food, then he doesn't spend wood on eco upgrades. So, I mean, and also the eco upgrades research faster. So super smooth eco with the Vietnamese. So I think he'll get both those upgrades. He'll go for Scouts, and yeah, they'll encounter each other soon. Syscon doesn't know where Vivi is because he's not Vietnamese himself, right? So he has no clue where his opponent is right now, what his opponent's doing, what the base looks like. But he'll head to the north, and he will see this, and it will probably come as no surprise that it's going to end up being Scouts here for Vivi. Back here, we've got the stable opening here for Syscon. Didn't snag Bidax at all, which is a little surprising. He's trying to delay the stable and be annoying, which I respect. This is an element of Syscon's play. But the Spearman's out from Vivi, and Syscon needs to back away, and Syscon needs to start adding those farms. This is a genuine concern. Like, I think he won't be able to make more than these 2 Scouts he has in queue. Vivi should be able to freely make Scouts and Villagers simultaneously for a while if he wants to. Syscon's going to have to wait till the farming eco's set up. So yeah, the lane has absolutely affected him. There's no doubt that it has. T90, why don't Vietnamese go for Archer opening? Because Archers are slow. Archers don't really take a lot of map control. And when you go Archer opening, you actually spend a lot more wood. So you don't have as good a food economy, which can be so helpful for different things throughout the game. So I think what feels the best with Vietnamese is a Scout opening. And then once you have the solid eco and you've maybe applied some pressure, kept your opponent's base open, then from there you transition into Archers. And you could tell he's kind of thinking about that already. It's a bit interesting. I wasn't expecting him to go to gold right now. But Syscon might not expect that either. And here comes Syscon. I mean, he needs some type of revenge. Vivi, I don't think was expecting this. And Syscon, I've seen him do it a million times. He gets the perfect blocks and kills a Vil, while simultaneously actually built a market here with Saracens. It's very cheap. And maybe he ends up selling off his stone right now and buying some food just to get a bit of a boost. I mean, Saracens have frequently been about using the market, lots of Vils on gold, not having a healthy food eco. But I think he just, because he didn't have the food for Scouts, he just bought the food. I don't hate it, though. because you can always buy the stone back if you need it. He killed the villager, which is always good. And he quick-walled on a really awkward wood line here. Here, he's added a few more to berries to try and compensate for a situation. It's really messy. The Oneville is very weak, but Vivi is having a kind of a tough time getting to him right now. And Vivi finally gets there. It was messy for Syscon as well, though, right? Lots of villagers be clicked off resources. And Vivi loses some scout HP, but still gets the villager kill to tie it up. Vivi does have the range now, so spear defense won't be good enough for Syscon. But let's compare the farms. We've got 6 farms over here versus 10 farms. So the continuous food income is actually pretty good for Syscon. And he also got that boost from the market, so he's got more scouts on the way. And when I say more scouts on the way, he's already here. Like, he wastes no time whatsoever getting more groups over here. And you can tell that Vivi just isn't as quick to hitting the opponent. And look at the micro from Syscon. He pulls the spear away, and he does it again. And that's going to be a doink. Gets the kill. Micro's away. I'm really impressed with how Syscon has managed this. Getting lamed, having a pretty open base, being up against Vivi in a high-pressure scenario is tough. But his eco is looking really nice right now. Now he needs to deal with these archers, though. Now it's going to be scouts and archers from Vivi, so it's that combo. And what do? You sell wood to get up to 100 gold, and then you click Bloodline, so your scouts are even stronger. That's crazy, right? I love the decision-making here, because the alternative would be an archer range, and then skirms, but then your opponent has scouts for the skirms, and then you probably need upgrades, and then it just takes a lot of time, right? I think Vivi, though, is getting to this point. This almost reminds me of an MBL game. He's getting to this point where he's just going to make one of everything, and he's going to mix in tons of spears. And if he recognizes that the upgrades are coming in for Syscon and that Syscon is not transitioning out of scouts at all, and that would require him just clicking here, he may end up bringing 5 to 6 spearmen forward. Yeah. So he's got 2 more joining, so he's got 3 in this group, and then if these 2 make it to the group, that's 5. Scouts can't fight that. If the spears weren't here, Syscon wins the fight easily. The spears are here, though. Syscon needs to try and back away. He does group up some of his scouts with spearmen as he tries to run away, and Vivi's right back in it, guys. I mean, not that he was ever out of it, but that's a really nice fight for Vivi. Some pretty costly losses there for Syscon, who still doesn't have an archer range. Ooh, there is actually a hole to the north of this wood line. He's going to double check that and fix that. And we actually see armor for the spearmen now for Vivi. Well, the scouts can't defend, so the scouts might as well attack. And the best way to punish your opponent who brings their spears forward is to simply go to their base then. Way more spearmen being created from Vivi. Archer range is up for Syscon. If he could get 2 ranges and get to producing archers as well with the scouts, I'd really like his position, but he's got a lot of catching up to do. Again, I love how active he is and how he's always finding that next target right away. Great job from Vivi to realize it, though. It's almost like he's warming up to it. And Vivi just still doing what he can. He's going to delay some farms. And Vivi also just double-checking there and didn't see the range, actually, for Syscon. Syscon just sniped a spear. Guys, if France lose this, they're down 2 games, and then Yo has essentially been saved for the 2v2. The players who play the 1v1 cannot play game 4. France need this to work out for them because they're trying to save Sato there. Syscon's played a good game, but Vivi has just had so much more army over the last few moments. And Syscon maybe struggling a little bit, trying to defend here. He has to pull the weak vills away constantly, hoping his skirms can get the pickoffs. But I'll give him credit. He gets the skirms there, he gets the upgrades, and Vivi has to back away. Vivi's farm actually just got sniped. So that's 60 wood down the drain because Syscon sniped it. And now Vivi's trying to get over here to the gold. And Syscon's trying to finish these walls. He's been open this whole time. Now, Vivi might just assume that Syscon is fully walled based on this, right? You see it all the time. Like, players just assume that no one's going to leave this open. But in reality, he has had it open because he's been focused everywhere else. Maybe by the time he gets over there, it is going to be walled. But, like, Sizcon is hoping that Vivi does not run in here because the skirm defense will not work anymore. And I think he's going to use a market, maybe? A gate? Oof. It is a palisade gate. They both click up the Castle Age. Still lots of skirm production behind this for Sizcon. But this little army could be really dangerous if Vivi gets it right. Doesn't feel like he quite has the attention to detail to get the micro correct here and push through. A couple archers and a Vil there? Is that intentional from Vivi? Vivi's might lose all this. The weak scouts have some upgrades still. And Vivi here still trying to move over this way. There's going to be a new scout. I'm going to assume that Vivi brought that intentionally forward to maybe a siege workshop. But way to hide this strategy, bro. Oh, he might be trying to chop the tree and build a palisade over it to tree hop. Yeah, this feels like a tree hop, actually. The further he's walking, the more he's walking this way. I don't know if the tree hop is going to be helpful here. And Sizcon should see that. Like, if you see the Vil and you have walled to an individual tree, you should know that this could be a tree hop. No way we're about to see a tree hop. Well, here comes the Vil. He sees the tree. He says, I could chop that. He drops a palisade. And just as the army's going to run through, Sizcon says, hey, buddy, I was building a house there. And he blocks it off. Great awareness. But he still could potentially have some problems. Now the Vil is battering down the gate in anger. I don't think Vivi was expecting Sizcon to be up at this time. Sizcon's actually fine. Even if this army breaks through, there's not enough to push back the skirms now. And so it's going to be a lead skirm and some knights. And naturally, because this is how Sizcon's played the whole game, he's going to immediately move forward with the knights. And I guess for now, he's defending with the skirms. This is close. Like, this is really, really close. Cav Archer follow-up for Vivi makes a lot of sense. 3 ranges. No stone in the bank for either player. This is going to be a full army game, which can be rare sometimes in competitive Arabia. But when it's really open, this is the way to play it. Nice Vil pick there from Sizcon. So he does have that slight villager lead. He's going to get another villager pick as well. The Cav Archers will become a problem for the Knights, though. And the forward Vil, this is more along the lines of what I thought was going to happen before the tree hop. This is going to produce siege, and this makes defending so difficult for Sizcon. Guys, he doesn't have much back wood left, and the gold as well. And Vivi knows about everything. Vivi sees this gold, Vivi sees this gold. Vivi knows about the wood in the back, too. So Vivi will probably come over here to try and pressure that in a moment. Now, the camels could be pretty good against the Cav Archers if they can get in close. So, I don't hate camel skirm, and then maybe the camels could be good enough against the siege as well. Sizcon saw the siege, kind of the last second there maybe, and he's got a micro under so much pressure, but he does get the knights onto the gold, and he's killing a couple more villagers here for Vivi. Nice job from Sizcon, because I didn't think the knights would be all that more... I didn't think they'd be very helpful here. Now, Vivi had all of his army together in the same spot right now. Sizcon can't think about fighting this, but he still has those Cav Archers at home. They've got to get forward now. What does Sizcon do? I can't help but feel like this wood line is such a problem. He has to respect the siege push, and then his wood is so exposed, and you can see where Vivi's thinking is the problem for Sizcon. The exact area we just spoke of. He's on the move, headed towards that wood line. Sizcon's actually noticing and I think placing houses as well to block it off so units can't go through. And Vivi's just like, come on, just buy time for me. This siege push, this monk is just all about buying time. Sizcon's going to take the engagement. It's going to be a winning engagement in this fight. It's looking amazing. But meanwhile, the Cav Archers are on his wood line. Honestly, though, guys, that house from Sizcon that he had placed just moments prior saved him there. Because he could be losing 10, 20 villagers to those Cav Archers right now. But instead, he'll clear up the push. He only lost 1 or 2. Maybe it was 3. I don't even know. But he's still in it. and he could maybe stabilize a little bit here. That was crazy, actually, that he was still thinking about that, didn't want to over-chop it. Don't tell me Vivi runs in. Well, that's exactly what Vivi does. And look at the idle time for Syscon. And, dude, Vivi doesn't see the skirms around the buildings anymore, so he knows they're coming back. And so he's going to just get out of dodge. Well, I prefer Vivi's position. I think that the amount of control that he's had over the game has been really helpful here. Just, he took initiative with the forward. He is now setting the pace of the game and making life difficult for Syscon. I like that Syscon's got ballistics, though, and Vivi doesn't, so the skirms should be very, very strong, should get lots of kills. And, wow, this gets interesting. We actually see Syscon counterattacking with the skirms. I think he missed the CA in the middle there. And so he's just going to counterattack with the knights. Vivi's got cav archers prepared to deal with that. And Syscon, a little out of position right now. The monk for Vivi, converting the knight would actually be massive. Oh, he killed the knight. He killed the knight. And hold on a second, guys. These skirms... Well, they might kill the cav archers, but the cav archers are going to go for Vil kills first. Oh, they're going to feast here. What they wanted was the other wood line. They're going to take any wood line they can get. Man, this is wild, though. Vivi's kind of taking a poor engagement over here. A second TC is coming up for Syscon. And if these cav archers get trapped, it's probably worth it for Syscon. This is 10 cav archers that are just going to be thrown away. Vivi's only way of escaping would be the palisade. He's trying to double back. Syscon's going to drop the houses. Also had a monk here from Vivi, maybe getting a conversion or somewhere else. Yeah, the cav archers will die. Wow, what a game. A crazy game. Crazy game. Both players have played so good. It has been back and forth. Like, this is an Arabia game right here. This is what I'm talking about. I check eco upgrades in these moments. Better for the Vietnamese player. But I think... I'm curious to see if Vivi's going to be able to make a lot more knights than what he has right now. He does have 3 more in queue. So Knight Cav Archer versus Camel Skirm is kind of what we're looking at here. The golds are really bad for both players. Look at these golds for Vivi. And then look at these golds over here for Syscon. So... that's probably what this game comes down to in the mid-castle age. And Vivi, big fan of the forward castle, has 11 on stone right now. And he actually just dives into his opponent's eco again. It's just crazy. I thought Syscon had walled that up. I think there was maybe still a gap there. I don't know if this is necessarily good for Vivi, though. Syscon could wall that now, and then the army can't escape again. Over here... Vivi's trying to push with siege. He doesn't have the monk nearby. It is going to try and convert. Syscon able to kill the siege and back away, while also defending here and killing all of Vivi's cav archers. The 2 knights are not enough. Not against this many skirms. Not only with the first armor upgrade. Syscon with amazing defense. And Vivi's still planning on a castle. I just don't know if a forward castle is going to be an option anymore. And here he comes again. There's the TC from Syscon. I mean, that is where the castle will probably go for Vivi if he wants it forward. Maybe Vivi tries to distract, right? Like, maybe he continues to try and pull Syscon this way, and then he brings all the Vils forward. I think, with how this game's looking right now, though, and how good the Rattan Archer is, you might actually want a castle on your hill at home, or even here in the middle between those 2 golds. There's nothing wrong with that. What you don't want is you don't want to throw the game with a forward castle when you don't necessarily have the army to justify it. Still no Vils moving forward. Maybe he's being patient, but Syscon's amazing defense with the skirms, the knights, the camels continues to impress me, guys. And he's now got more army. He's definitely got the better army because the cav archers have never been over, say, 15. These skirms have gotten crazy value. And the siege will not come from the forward anymore. The monks won't come from the forward anymore. The forward is essentially dead. So Vivi's collected more resources, but let's look at the value destroyed. Look at that, bottom left. I just toggled it. 7,500 resources destroyed from Syscon and just 4,100 for Vivi. So that extra 3k has just been killed. And oh, Vivi, are you crazy? You have like no army control. I love this player so much. This is so wild, man. Listen, there's times where you just gotta send it. And for Vivi, that's all the time. Here he goes. I mean, if it goes up, it changes the game. Syscon's gonna see it. He doesn't have his army here. And because Vivi has mobility, Vivi's able to run away. Syscon can't do anything about this castle. And Vivi didn't even know the TC was there. So it's like, this is like a bonus now. So, cav archers, knights, potential of rats and archers here. And best of luck to you, Syscon, stabilizing this one now. Because his next gold is over here. That's how Vivi sees the game, guys. He plays the game. It's all about control and resource denial. Really, he's hyper-focused on that. And so, before it was wood, now it's going to be gold and stone, and the rest of the gold and stone is going to be over here, and that's probably where he's going to send his army next. And now he knows he's exposed here, so he'll drop a TC there as well. I'm loving the blacksmith upgrades Vivi's getting. He didn't have ballistics before. He got that. He's getting full armor on the knights, full armor on the CA. And I think Syscon's skirms, while they've done a really nice job this game, the lack of mobility is going to be a real issue if Vivi continues to play it this way. Because they can only be in one spot, right? And so the skirms are elsewhere. The skirms are out of position. And now Vivi dives for China. And he's going to kill off all these strong Saracen camels. He will temporarily deny the TC. Let's see if it goes up. I don't think the TC's going up. The TC on the gold denied. Syscon needs gold. And there is just again another counterattack. It's like anytime Syscon starts to struggle, he somehow finds a counterattack to do damage. And he brings the skirms over. He brings more camels over. He completes the TC and is maybe fine. Stone miners, though, need to leave. These villagers need to get out of here. And the cav archers are here to kill them. Even just right there, right? That's an extra 3 or 4 Vil snipes for Vivi, just because he has the mobility. Beautiful stuff. And you're starting to see Syscon struggle for any type of, like, normal eco balance and control. And Vivi is just the madman that continues giving here. And he's just going to dive again. He dove like 3 times before and lost all of his army, and he just doesn't care. Oh, nope, never mind. He's not diving. I'm wrong. Just kidding. Debated. He's backing away to the castle. That's what you can do with the castle. It's like, they have to respect the potential that you can move in there all the time. The cav archers here from Vivi. Clean up the knights. Lots of idle time for Vivi. Lots of idle time for both. But I prefer Vivi's position now. The thing that would really make this game Vivi's is if he built a defensive castle on this hill now. Because, or I mean, a forward castle right here. That would end the game. But I think Syscon's way back into the game is of course it's a forward castle. Syscon's way back into the game is a castle forward on these golds. So then he could deny resources from Vivi. Okay, Syscon, you have to stop this one. This has to be stopped. And it can be stopped. It's possible. There's enough skirms. There's monks. There's camels. Syscon doesn't really have the resources to buy a castle. Let's see if he has enough to kill the Vils and also kill the army. If this was just army v army, I think it's a fight that Syscon can win. But it's still really close. Ooh, and Vivi runs in with the Ratens. He runs in with the Ratens and the knight into the back. And the castle will go up. I keep wanting to think, because Vivi's got such a good spot, I keep wanting to say Vivi just needs to chill, but I don't think Vivi knows how to chill, you know? Suggesting to Vivi to chill is telling Vivi not to be himself. And I don't want to sit here and tell Vivi not to be himself. So Vivi, on the second hand, I think you should unleash even more chaos and just keep piling on the pressure here. There's going to be a castle for Syscon. Syscon will complete this castle, but he still can't take that gold, right? And he actually has no gold right now. He is completely goldless. Maybe fine if he just could rely on skirms. Maybe it's okay that he could maybe sell off resources with the Saracens, but like, he needs imp, basically. He needs to deal with the castle somehow, and the castles are getting kills. This TC is going to go down for Syscon. This TC is being siege pushed. Like, this is so brutal for him. And there's really no other golds that are realistic for him to take either. This gold in the north he doesn't see and is too far. The other neutral gold's in the back corner. And Vivi is just going to drop more castles on this guy's face. Because he's all over the stone, all over the golds. And is he about to delete his own house and run through here right now? Don't tell me that that's open. Oh my god. Oh my god. That game's probably over anyways. But that is so freaking funny. No one knew that when Vivi went forward to build the base there, that was the strategy, guys. It wasn't about the siege push. It wasn't about the monks, obviously. It was about blocking the stone wall in the future. Yeah, Vivi's just too brilliant. And he's too good at that style. That was a really good game. I thought Syscon played amazing. I think he played some of his best Age of Empires there. But Vivi, he made it messy. And sometimes it does get messier naturally in high-pressure environments as well. And he thrived there. The mobility of the Cav Archers with the Knights, I think, played a big role. Like I said, there were good fights taken for Syscon, but we were always looking at Syscon's base, and Syscon was always adapting. Very rarely did we look over at Vivi's base in comparison. I mean, Vivi didn't even look at his base at times, apparently, because he's got some pretty inefficient villagers on wood right now. But yeah, when you're doing that much damage, when you drop forward castles on somebody like that, it gives you all the lead you would want. So, France have to start calling this back now. China, if you count the semifinals and so far in the final, they're 6-0. They're on this crazy win streak after 4-0ing Brazil in the semis. Now 2-0 up over France. It will go to a 3v3 next where I consider it a must-win for France. And then if they get the win there, the 2v2, I think France have something cooked up. And maybe this ends up being a 2-2. But that's really nice. You still have Yo available for the 2v2 later. Vivi's clearly in really good shape. Here we are, game 3. So, this is a big hurdle for France, but this is the start of something special. It really is, because you lose this game, you're in a really rough spot. Obviously, you got to win 4 straight against China. It's not looking good. But this is China's best map. Like, of all the maps, it feels wild to say this. This is probably their best. This is where they're at home. So, if you win here, you get huge momentum swing off that. And then I actually think the 2v2 is one of France's best maps as well. So it's not unheard of that this could pretty soon in like an hour, hour and a half end up being 2-2 headed to game number 5. For China, we've got Yo here in the green playing as the Malians. He's directly next to Sato. So, I mean, this will be fun. Sato and Yo next to each other. Nearby to Yo, we have Margugu, who's playing as the Koreans as well. So Yo's kind of surrounded. In the middle for France, we then have Syscon. And then far away over here in the east, we have the 2 other Chinese players. We've got Vivi. And then we have Lix. Now, dock positions are also really important here. And usually there's going to be one, if not more than that, players on each team go for water. So in the very east, we have Sato's dock. Sato is docked kind of close to Syscon. So that's close enough where there could be some level of support for each other. And then you move further along, you've got Yo. Then you've got Margugu. So Yo could have a rough game. He's in the middle of 2 people on land and 2 people on water. And then over in the west, we've got the dock for Lix. He's got like very nice safe fish. And then you do from Vivi as well. Now, guys, China are absolutely insane at determining dock positions and TC positions and understanding what to do. Remember, they had Vietnamese drafted, and they just used Vietnamese in 1v1s. So they could have known where the opponent's TCs were with that Civ, but they don't know that now because they didn't use Vietnamese. France did. So it's like, boom, Yo is here. Boom, Vivi's here. Boom, Lix is here. They know these things. So I'm curious to see what the scouting looks like for China here, because they need to have an understanding that Vivi's fish are going to be safe. Like, Vivi and Lix are actually in insane positions if they just want to play greedy and fish boom, because it is very unlikely they're going to get hit early on water. But will they know that? Because they don't know if there's a dock here. So they're going to go based on when they lose sheep on the shoreline. if they lose sheep on the shoreline. I don't know if they lost one here. I think that was just a villager walking this way. And then Vivi's definitely going fast castle camel archers. That I can pretty much guarantee you. So I guess he will be greedy regardless. But Lix, he might want to go water with the Italians. And so far, Lix is probably like, guys, there's no dock near me. And he may come to the realization that water might not be a good idea because of that. So we'll see. Now, Yo is going to have an issue for gold, I think. Because Yo is probably going to try and come for this gold, but that's going to be the gold that Margugu goes to. Yo is bringing in boars. Even, like, getting food in this south side is going to be tough for Yo because there's enemies here. But he knows Sito is there, and I believe he lost a sheep against Vivi. Or sorry, against Margugu, because that's really close scouting to the TC. So, how should Yo play this? You gotta be a rat, dude. You have to be the worst person possible for these two Frenchmen. You have to tower, you have to make scouts, you've got to maybe even TC drop. That would actually be something I've seen China do. Yo doesn't typically do it, but Lix does it. You could even just delete your TC and build it on top of Sito. Just anything to slow these guys down, because you're probably going to have a rough time as is. I mean, you can come over here for gold. Even then, I'm not seeing lots of stone for him, though. I don't think Yo will be TC dropping. But it wouldn't surprise me if he chooses to go for some type of tower rush. Now, again, back to the shoreline scouting. Like, Vivi has not found any docks. There's no docks along here. There's no docks along here. So they know that their fish are going to be super safe, which is amazing for Vivi. I want to see France's scouting in that regard. Okay, do you see how in the dark they are on this in comparison? They're not using sheep to scout the shorelines as much. I'm going to tell you what I think France is going to do. They just decide one player goes water, and they adapt regardless. They don't really... I don't think they really think about not going water if there's distance between, because they don't have that intel. Like, I think Syscon... Well, actually, we've got Sito up. I know Syscon had gone water before. Yeah, Sito's going to be the guy who goes water. And he's extremely far away from all the docks for the enemy. So this Ville's probably going to get pulled, and he's probably going to make a dock. And here comes Lix trying to bring in a boar. Yeah, it's going to be galleys for Sito. There's a signal from Sito, as if to say, like, don't let him go for that gold. Or if you take that gold, be careful, because Yo is close. Ooh, okay, so actually, Sito is going to go archers and also go... Yeah, you could tell he couldn't afford the dock. I think he's going to try and mix archers and galleys. Syscon is pretty far on his way as well. Syscon is going barracks. This could be archers from him, too. Wow, so they just not going water at all? I could have sworn we would see a second dock from somebody. Usually there's one person doing it on one team. I think we're still going to see Lix go water, but it's more like a fast castle water. More than anything. And then Vivi's still just going to go... He may actually make some navy as well, but Vivi's definitely going to go camel archers. So, tower here from Sito. And then archers. And Yo is probably like, hey guys, you know the enemies that are surrounding me? They're doing mean things here. I might need some help. But okay, my gut reaction is that this is actually really, 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 really good for China. It's not good for Yo, but like, Sito is giving a lot of attention and pressure on him. And now Margugu is here, and Margugu is going to have some problems because of Yo's existence as well. Margugu is on stone, with the Koreans, though. And he's going to go fast castle, and he's going to get a castle regardless. Okay. Like, it's actually not a big deal for Margugu now if he gets... this gold gets towered, because he just pulls off the gold and goes to stone and builds a castle on the tower anyways. Yo needs to try what he can. There's a signal from Lix. Look at that. He's actually scalded with a fishing ship. This is a classic Nomad thing, just to get that additional little bit of scalding. And I'd be very surprised if we don't see fire galleys from Lix soon. There's the market blacksmith. He will click up the castle and then probably make navy. Yo needs to survive. Okay, so is the situation between Yo, Sato, and Margugu good or bad for China, guys? There's only one correct answer here, by the way. It's very clear what the answer is. And you should know already. We talked about this. You guys said good. Well, no, the answer is it depends. Come on! The answer is it depends. It always depends. Oh, come on, chat. Yes is the answer. I could see yes being the answer. Absolutely. But, like, I think it's bad if Margugu drops a castle on his face, you know? But yeah, I'm just trolling you guys. I couldn't help myself. Skirms from Siska. Sato, sorry. To deal with the archers, but he does lose his archers. And we do have the war galleys or fire galleys on the way for Lix. Probably even see a third dock here. Now, where does Vivi choose to? As there's stone walls now from Siscon. He's scared. Where does Vivi choose to drop his castle? Because Siscon's got a couple archers around, so he can't really place it forward. That's a really big play. Losing the archer is not. That's really not good for Siscon. But the idea of just the presence of archers stopping a forward castle is nice. Okay, Margugu is about to drop a castle on Yo, and Yo decided to Vil rush it back. And he's going to do what he can to delay his death here. He was blocking the foundation with his Vils, but there goes the castle. That castle's probably going to go up. But, honestly, the castle isn't great because it doesn't take down this tower. So it's still kind of awkward for Margugu to get to gold. Now there's a tower from Yo. Here comes Sato to deal with that. And then just keep an eye on the fish situation, guys. Because, oh god, oh man, Sato with the trap! Sato with the trap! Oh man, Yo has to bail. He has to bail fast before war wagons show up as well. Sato with the nifty plays. He does lose a Vil though, and Yo only loses one. I don't know how Yo keeps Vils alive when war wagons come underneath his towers, though. This is gonna be interesting. Yo might actually delete this TC right now and build a new one. What else are you gonna do with this? Upgraded fires coming in, so Margugu will lose his fish. It's likely that everyone will lose their fish for France. This is not good for their economies, but Yo is running away, and maybe like the arena game, if they take Yo out of the game, 3 players can win it for France. There's archers here from Siscon, but Yo actually found a couple kills somehow with the little army he's made. He's gotten really nice value from his army. And there's going to be camel archers from Vivi. Camel archers and booming because he's fish booming. But, oh, this needs to be spotted. If he loses 10 fishing ships to 1 fire galley, that's a game changer here. There is help around, right? Lix could send a fire over, but I don't think Vivi realizes this. And here goes Yo. Yo still hasn't deleted his TC, but he's not producing any Vils. And Yo is going to start over. It's not every day that you get a repeat. Okay, looks like Vivi just noticed the fires here. No, he didn't notice this? Wow, that's crazy. Because, like, you're expected to have problems on land right now if you're in China's position. But what you're also expecting is to have a free fish boom. Vivi's actually making his own fires to deal with that. But that was a little sloppy. War wagons are chasing Yo as Yo is building the new TC. But Margugu hasn't really been able to find him yet. And now I think we should really focus on Vivi with the Camel Archers. Because Vivi's got the best eco for China. He's got the best unit for China. And Camel Archer Siege could be really strong. But it's kind of just him for Team China on land right now. It is just full boom and water for Licks. He'll be in the game later. And Yo is... Again, he started over here. TC for Sito. He's going to boom up on land. TC's for Margugu. He's got a nice boom up on land. So they're going to be flowing pretty nicely there, France. And a really fun game here, guys. It's not every day that you see such extreme differences where it's one team just pretty much giving up water to the other, but then the other team going so aggressive on land where it pays off like this. I think things are going to even out in the end for France, and I think they're going to be happy with their position. The War Wagons are extremely strong. Yo is down to 27 Vils. I would expect, like, Sizcon's kind of in a rough spot right now, but he should get enough support. He will have army to upgrade. I'm not seeing enough Camel Archers in Siege from Vivi right now to think that he's going to dominate on his own. And the skirms from Sito as well. Pretty helpful, but, where are we going? What's happening? Well, the skirms, it was a misclick initially. And now Sito is trying to kill it? Okay, not Sito's best moment there. I don't know. Obviously, he didn't initially mean to getting so close. Things got a little bit crazy. All three players from France have an army over here towards Vivi right now. War Wagons, Archers, and then Elite Skirm. At Licks has water dominated for the team. Now, water adds a lot of score relative to land units. So you have to remember that as well, because I know that the score is always a big motivating factor in a game on, like, if you think you're winning or if you're losing. But in this case, the fish very much matter and play a pretty nice role. So it's not like it's just leftover naval units that aren't really accomplishing anything. You could also, if you have that water control, you can allow Yo to reboom. Like, Yo is actually rebooming back into the game with a fish boom now. And he might be Castle Age faster because of that. But this is a lot to pay attention to. It's a lot to break down. Vivi, pretty much on his own, though, with the Camel Archers in the siege. But he's doing a really nice job. Now, what was good for was that Vivi and Licks were really far away from the enemy before, right? That's also a positive you could consider for France. This is not good for France. The Camel Archers are eating these wagons. And the attack ground from Vivi as well was also quite good. But the micro from Sizcon is still worth it. But yeah, at least Margugu and Sito have time to chill and drop TCs. If this army gets cleared up, then it's going to take a long time for Vivi to get over there. I wouldn't say Sizcon's position is all that good, though. Just kills a boar. He's going to switch Cav Archers. I mean, War Wagons struggle against Camel Archers because the bonus damage Camel Archers do. Cav Archers especially struggle there, and then Crossbows could be considered a worse version. Skirm should be okay, but then the Siege is always an issue. And I think we're going to see a forward castle from Vivi soon, right on Sizcon. And there it is. He just got out of a 1v1 where he did it to Sizcon. And apparently, he's not done yet. I love the fact that this castle is going on Sizcon of all people. Because Sizcon's like, not again, dude. Not again. Now, he saw the Vils. So I think he knows what's coming because he has these buildings here. France might not want to allow this to go up. And so the skirms from Sito are on the right side. We've got wagons from Margugu on the other side. There's a lot happening here. And France are going to hold it. France are going to hold it. Remember, Yo's just about to come back into the game, but the siege is out of the picture. And there's 3 armies from France that they will not let Vivi progress here. Margugu has more eco than Vivi, and Vivi has a fish boom. Sito's getting pretty close. So those two are doing a great job to reboom. And now you're wondering, I mean, Yo's still got some problems, but what is Yo going to make? He's going to make a couple camels, I guess. But yeah, guys, there's a lot of map control for France. The key now is Lix needs to come into the game on land in some way. And to do that, he needs to complete this castle. Nice job there from Sizkan. Great attention to detail with the archers. Castle's going to go up. I'm seeing cav upgrades coming in for Lix, which makes me think that he's going to end up going for like knights or something. And I'm also seeing red streaks across the minimap. It looks like there's a rally point issue for Sito. I don't know how many of his TCs are doing it, but there's Vils walking across the map, and I don't think that's intentional. So he is sending Vils to their deaths right now and not realizing that. Another castle for Vivi over here, so he's going to have 2 to produce camel archers. If Lix can afford to go for full Cavalier with upgrades, which is... honestly, his eco is still a little off from being able to do that perfectly. It's the perfect choice. And it's going to be tough for France. France is going to have a lot of fires to put out. I think Sito realized the waypoint issue. I'm not seeing the Vils run across the map anymore. So, no worries there. Yo is having a rough time still this game. He's having a really rough time. But he stayed in it. I mean, could have been worse. If they didn't have full water control, Yo is completely toast. But Yo probably wouldn't have fallen behind on land if the enemy wouldn't have, committed everything to land and not water. So it's kind of hard to get imp here if you're France, because you've had to add so many Vils. But imp should come in because they're making primarily wood gold units. Yeah, this is fine for France. This is still a good engagement. The wagons are going to be good enough. The crossbows are always here from Sizkan. The camel archers are so expensive for Vivi. Vivi never had bloodlines, so his units have been much weaker than they could have been. Little sloppy here for Sito. The pressure's going to be on as he drops the gates. Camel archers are going to be a pain. But now it's all about Lix. Can Lix kill somebody with these Cavalier? Sito is clicked up to imp. Margugu is going to follow. But Sizkan, guys. Sizkan's population could be worse than Yo's in like 6 minutes. He's going to have Cavalier. He's going to have Trebs on him. Lix also could go Cannon Galleons around the outside, which eventually could do something, right? Like Cannon Galleons back here. Oh, Sito's got docks now, so Sito's going to sneak back on water. That could be a real problem. Yeah, Lix is no critical mass, but you don't need the critical mass against Castle Age units when you've got him. So right now, it's all a raiding game. It takes a long time for the Cav Archers, the TCs, and the crossbows to kill these Cavalier. And Lix is going to be able to spread out as well. You could tell France was trying to wall this up. That got denied. Again, I meant it. Sizkan could have some real population issues. He's in the middle of the map right now, surrounded by Camel Archers, surrounded by Cavalier, and now Trebs. And now Yo, dropping TCs. Yo is going to be cooking back into the game. It's been only Lix and Vivi this whole game for China. Oh, God, Sizkan. I mean, if you take the Treb, it maybe delays it. Huh? All right. Epic plays. Little late reaction there from Lix. But there's so many different things to look at. Sizkan is running away. Wait, Yo is raiding with stuff? There's Cavalier back here from Lix. Yo's got Light Cav in here raiding as well. I didn't think Yo was helping out with the raids. This is crazy. Where's the base for Sizkan, guys? It's gone. It's been deleted. He's got 58 pop, 0 army. And there's Cavalier now going to hit Margugu's base. Oh, man, it's all falling apart for France. There's just so much chaos. They've done the right thing to try and raid. That's the right... sorry, not to try and raid, to try and wall up to prevent the raids. We'll see if it's going to be enough. I think it could still be enough because there's still war wagons from Margugu. He's still got sizable eco. And we have Sito making Latis now. We'll probably end up getting some relics in as well. And Latis wagons could be a really strong unit. Problem right now for China is in a lot of areas, their units cannot pass through. And oh my god, there it is. I was wondering how Lix kept getting back here. Guys, Lix used his Dockville to build stables in the back of Sato's base. And Sato just doesn't realize it because he thinks it's docks. Like, look at the mini-map. You think that's a dock and some fishing ships maybe. But you don't realize that it's stables that's going to stream Cavalier back into the back of your eco. That's crazy talk. And meanwhile, Sato is worried about this, as you would imagine he should be. He's so focused in the middle of the map. And Lix is just saving up the Cavalier, being patient as can be. They busted down this wall, guys. So now they can run through. The Camel Archers from Vivi, as he's on the way to Imp, help out with the Cavalier here. And France are falling apart, guys. It's just crazy. Like, I really think that France has had a great game. But what I know of China, and what I know of Yo and Lix and Vivi and, you know, all their players, even their B tier players on Nomad, is they just play it a different way. And so this was going to be the map where they were favorites. The other ones were supposed to be a lot closer. And let's be honest, the 1v1 was pretty close. That maybe the arena game wasn't, though. China just want this so bad, man. The sponsor of this event, as this castle's denied, like, what is happening? Everything's going so wrong for France. The sponsor of this event, Shinaxi, who put up $50,000, he's Chinese. He sponsors all these guys. He wants this Chinese team to deliver here. And now Lix gonna send Yo some resources to get Yo up to Imp, maybe, so he can join the party for real this time. China just came to play today. And France just can't keep up with them. What a crazy job from Vivi and Lix, though, the last 10 minutes to get the damage in that they're getting. It looks like this was spotted now. So I think Sato's going to try and put an end to these raids. But that means Sato can't fight on the front then. And then Sato can't look over here. It's an absolute slaughter. Villager after villager after villager after villager getting slaughtered to Italian Cavalier. These are just basic, you know, right out of the box Cavalier. There's no upgrades, or like above other civilizations, right? They're just basic Cavalier with full upgrades. You don't go Cavalier that frequently with civs unless they get Paladin or they have some other unique bonuses to work with. Lix still passing along some resources to Yo. You're allowed to send resources down. Anyone worried about the rules here? And all of this has been before Vivi had imp upgrades in his Camel Archers, and he's now getting them. So now Bracer's in on the Camel Archers. So he's microing like a god back here. Margugu can't keep track. And I don't even know where to follow. I can't imagine. You're getting hit from both sides. I can't imagine this is easy for France to keep track of everything that's happening. The stables were starting to be walled up, and so Vivi just naturally makes his way over here, right? I think the only way back for France right now is if they push back through the middle. And they've got a bit of a Trebor working here, so maybe that's it. But, like, Yo is going to come in with Cavalier that have +7 attack with Malians. And Sizcon is, like... I think he's doing what he can do, and he's just going to make monks. Because he's just cramped in here. He can't boom anywhere else. He can't really expand. I just don't think this is going to be easy. Okay, great. You clear this up on the back. Congratulations if you're France. Now you have to stay here to deal with the stables. And as you do that, China advance through because they break down the gate and run right into the middle of your base now. Yo is going to get the sweetest of revenge here on the two players that chased him down and pushed him into this itty-bitty little corner. He is probably going to end up being the finishing blow here. There are some halves from Margugu, but he doesn't have many wagons anymore. Sato doesn't have much of an eco anymore. And these Camel Archers are going to snipe the Trebs for Sato. Sato can't really even afford to make more Trebs. Vivi's going to drop another castle, and you just have to hand it to China, man. What a game from them. Remember, I wasn't really certain how good the raid... I thought the raids would be good against Sizcon, but I thought it was going to be tough for Lix because he only had 90 villagers. But man, did he find the spots with those raids. Crazy game from Lix. He's still raiding the back with these stables. And a great job from Vivi, and then obviously a great job from Yo to survive this game and come back into the game from here. Again, crazy stuff that you can have your best player be completely relocated and not really have much support either and still win the game. And it is because Vivi and Lix had the fish boom, right? So they had the eco lead, and then Vivi's Camel Archer control was fantastic. I'm sure his KD was ridiculous. And they just hit all the timings there. Yeah, 2-1 KD for Lix, 2-1 KD for Vivi. What I do want to see, though, is I want to see the eco KD. Look at that, man. People can't just call Lix a player who makes it crazy and doesn't play meta. I know that people love that style, and he's done it, but this was a full meta carry game from Lix when his team needed it. He killed 135 villagers this game. He only lost 18. And then poor Sato lost 109 vills. Margugu lost 50 vills. And Sizcon lost 52 vills as well. And I'm sure, especially with how the last few moments went, I'm sure if you look at the res collected, it's got to be way better for those two as well. Yeah. So, yeah, having two safe players, this is why I asked the player. This is why I asked the question, sorry, and I said, who is this better for? Because sometimes having the two safe players who still have water is actually really good. Because one player can beat two in that case, as like maybe Sizcon and Sato were still playing a lot of catch up there. But I think the one thing that France missed in this game was they missed someone sneaking back onto water. Now, I'm not saying that would have been easy, but Sato tried it later on. And I think, like, when Yo literally leaves this place, when he's gone, maybe you have to settle down with War Wagon production and just drop a couple sneak docks and try and snipe fishing ships or something. I don't know if that's actually possible. I would have to look at their ecos and whatnot. But, like, at least hit them that way, because there's no way that you're going to hit Lix in any other way. And Lix, he didn't produce many fires. Like, right now he's got 6, and there were never any big engagements on water. So he just made 6 fires, and then he's like, okay, we're good. I think maybe it's worth it. Maybe it takes their attention away from the middle if you try and get out there and snipe their fishing ships. But it's never easy on Nomad against China. They're the best Nomad country, in my opinion. And they're 1 win away now from proving that they're also the best country in the world, just overall. Obviously, scoreline not fantastic for France, but I just said I think we're going to see some boxing, because you usually pick Goths because of the instant loom and the laming, and then you normally pick any Mesosiv for the eagle and the potential of laming as well. Margugu just trying to get his sheep here, and Lix, he says, no, you don't. You either give me the goat or I kill the goat. Your choice. And Margugu, I guess, decides, oh, can't kill it if it's yours. Well, both scouts are here from Yo and from Lix. Ganging up on Margugu. And there goes the Vil for Lix, and he's going to start his craziness right now. So the front position on this map is super, super tough to play. The back position's usually a bit easier, but it's notable that Yo has actually brought his scout forward here. Brings his scout. The garrisons from Margugu don't actually do a ton there. So that's some unnecessary idle time, and they're looking for a boar. Margugu is doing the right thing here, because you don't want to lose your boars. He brought in the other one rather early, and now he gets this. This is smart. I actually think this ends up being completely fine for Margugu, assuming he just goes back and pushes in his deer right now. Sato could maybe have some problems, because it looks like it's 2 Vils wandering around. But Sato is at least prepared that this is coming, and he needs to pre-wall his villagers on his wood line. Oh boy, Sato, get your Vils walled in. Sato doesn't have loom. Margugu killing the Vil. Bam! Bam! Let's go! France says, put away your brooms. There will be no sweeping here. Not today. Not on my watch. No one beats us 3 times in a row. And Margugu is going to bring 2 Vills and his Eagle to chase this down. Now, this is actually really interesting. I had way too many conversations about what to do here when we trained, because we were going to be up against Taiwan in the qualifier, and I knew Taiwan liked to do this. And so we brought a Black Forest player onto our team named Mununez, and he was basically like, if someone sends Vills through, you always just send 1 more Vill than what they brought, and you chase it and you put an end to it. Because you don't want to let that linger. You don't want to let that Vill hang around and become a problem for us. And so that's essentially what they're trying to do. They just want to stop it. Now Lix is bringing another Vill. But yeah, meanwhile, Yo doesn't have any crazy... Meanwhile, Lix almost loses a villager to a boar. But yeah, meanwhile, Yo doesn't really have any craziness happening back at his base. There's a lot of stuff happening, and the Vill rush is going to continue. Yeah. So, more Vills coming forward for Lix. That's his strat. He loses this Vill, though. And I think Margugu's done a really nice job against this. So, what is that? 2 Vills down now for Lix? Margugu got all of his boars. He did lose his eagle, so he can't push his deer. His uptime to feudal age will be affected. So, what do you do when the Vill rushing isn't working? You send more Vills! Obviously! You don't give up on it. You're too far gone, guys. Because, like, it might look stupid, but it kind of makes sense. If you just Vill rush, lose 2 Vills, and then stop, the chaos ends, the opponent's in a better position than you, and then problems happen. So, sending more and at least hoping that you can continue to win the boxing battle would be great. Here he goes. It's going to continue. And Margugu is going to drop off the wood of the lumber camp and say, come at me, bro. It's so funny. With these 2 players, I knew before we even got into the game, this is exactly what we're going to see. I called it. I don't think Lix is used to being up against people who respond to this in this way. Right? Usually people only respond, they'll like fight you back and then try and go back home. Margugu's fine with this. Okay. Well, maybe he's not so fine with this. So, a big reason you do this is you want to take the archers from the front player out of the equation, and you want to set up your back player to kill the exposed front player's Vills. So, Margugu is trying to wall right now, because the last thing he wants is for this to still be open. Quick walls, it's open. Yeah, because Yo's going to make scouts, and Yo's going to try and come through here. And that's Lix's job. The job description was keep the door open. And Lix is doing that any way he knows how. Margugu seems to have the better micro, though. And, oh my god, Lix is bringing even more! I know I said that the best way to do this is just bring more, but I was kind of expecting him to stop anyway. And like, think about it, though. Sito has to deal with Vills now. Yo doesn't have to deal with anything. This is all about Lix setting up Yo. That's all it is. Look, delay the barracks. If he can't build the barracks, his stable's delayed, and then he can't make scouts. Yo is making a stable. So now we have the panic. Now Margugu's chasing because Sito's like, bro, get him off me. He's like, I'm trying. Okay. Villager went down here for Lix. And the walls are coming up on the front, at least for Margugu. Lix is at 21 Vills. Half of them are training for a marathon right now. And the front players are going to be forever, and I mean forever, Dark Age at this point. But I mean, like, they haven't even taken their berries yet. This is ridiculous. See, I would say that at this point, you just stop chasing Lix. I don't think you need to keep running like this. But I guess from Margugu's perspective, you feel like you're ahead and you want to stay ahead. So Yo's going to make lots of scouts with the Japanese. His scouts are going to be out and about. Sato's going to be doing the same here with the Persians. Fish are really valuable in this map, so it's a big deal. And we got fire galleys coming out from Sato, so he might move forward. And Margugu... Oh, this is actually sick. This is actually sick. He's going to wall with all these vills. Wow. It looks ridiculous. But it doesn't allow Yo to do anything with the scouts if the walls go down. This is actually so good. That is so smart. I don't know if I've ever seen someone walling with so many vills before. Like, this has got to be a new record. What is that? 15 vills building the same wall? 20 vills building the same wall? What would be so funny is if there's a hole now. I don't think there's a hole there. There is a... Well, there is kind of a hole. Yo's gonna get excited when he sees this vill here. Well, just passing. Okay. That'd be funny if Margugu walls it now, actually, because Yo won't be able to get back. Margugu clearly was looking for a hole. Yo keeps thinking, oh my god, I made it. I've made it. Let's go. There's a hole. There's a hole. There's gonna be a hole here. And there's no hole there. There's gonna be a hole here. Now there's no hole here. Now he's like, can I get back? Does he keep going? Oh, dude! They sensed it! Sato is going gate, 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 gate. He just jagates it. And... What? Oh, no! Oh, crap! No! There was a hole here! No! No! Panique! Panique for France! Oh, crap! Oh, they think they've got it. Oh, no. Do they know? Do they realize that Yo is through right now? I don't think he does. Oh, crap. No, that's so frustrating for France after what a brutal day it's been. You can't have that happening. Oh, pain. Because also, Sato's not making scouts. He's making fire galleys, which could still be amazing for them, by the way. But it's not like he could chase this down with scouts. He's going to have to chase this down with spears. Margugu plugged the hole. Margugu's on the way to feudal. But you do have Yo in a pretty chill position. Honestly, I think the position for Sato is quite nice, though, with the fires. It's hard to kill Japanese fishing ships, but when you've got... yeah, it just doesn't quite have the timing on the follow-up, I guess. We'll see if the repairs happen. Lix is going to help out the team in repair. The scouts for Yo got over to Margugu. The repairs are coming in from Lix. We did add some fish behind this. Yeah, I mean, and there's still another fire from Sato. This could still be fine for France. It's not going to be fine for Margugu, but he has a 7-villager lead over Lix anyways. What could possibly get worse for Margugu after how this game has gone? Well, you could get tower rushed by Lix next. So apparently it can get worse. There's only 2 scouts remaining from Yo remaining in here. And that's 5 fire galleys against what's only 1 right now for Yo. So, yes, Japanese fishing ships, but they'll still probably go down. This is the key for France. You give Sato a lead. Sato could maybe win this in Castle Age for you. He's about to click up. Margugu will gladly be the punching bag for France if that's what it takes to get a win on the board. And that's what he's had to be so far. And there goes Sato on the way to Castle. Oh, man, but Yo is 30 seconds from being in Castle. Oh, man, and Yo has a sneak dock. Oh, man, and I don't know if Sato sees it. The sneak dock will probably lead to all the fish going down for Sato as well. And here come the towers. Here come the spears. Yo in Castle Age at 18 minutes. And that's just a player who wasn't harassed up until the fish, right? Beyond that, he just had an excellent build. He didn't have to worry about much. I don't know if anyone was watching back then, but the 2v2 World Cup days with China, that final, a masterpiece between China and Norway. Lix and Yo versus Viper MBL was crazy, crazy tournament. And the theme in those games was Lix doing the same stuff. Just doing anything he can to set up Yo so Yo could carry. The sneak dock is a big deal because it feels like the fish will probably be vulnerable for Yo. He's probably going to lose most of them, but he will at least be able to return the favor now. The tower rush continues here between Margugu and Lix. Sito will try his best. He did land a demo here moments ago, and actually will keep his fish in it for now. But the next thing I'm going to think about is, will we see a TC maybe from Yo? Cav archers from Yo. Okay, but will there be a second town center? Will he get a lead in that way? Maybe. Because his eco setup at home, it looks as peaceful as can be. Margugu cannot let units through right now. If the units get through, it could be over for them. You can't have cav archers in your eco. And Sito cannot allow his fish to die. So far, has kept his fish alive for the most part. And is going to kill off the rest of Yo's fish. Really nice job from Sito. Really nice job. And a nice hold from Margugu, who refuses to go down. We have 3 fully garrisoned... Well, there's 12 villagers garrisoned here for Lix. And Margugu's got 15. And Margugu's just repairs into the tower, repairs into the tower, repairs into the tower, repairs into the tower. That's so good. That's so good. I love it. It's crazy, man. Stone walls now for Margugu as well. He doesn't want the CA to get through. Lix now panicking with his repairs. I think Margugu makes the right choice to give up on that tower. Loses 2 vills when he runs away. Sito is going to need to make knights for these cav archers. And Yo is not going to make a ton of progress here. He actually just demos down the fish. I mean, you got to do what you can if you know you're going to lose water. So I like the approach. But that means upwards of 10 fishing ships for Sito. And he's Persians with the faster working Persian town centers. That's a really nice economy for Sito compared to Yo. And Margugu's just got to hold the line. Hold the line. As another tower comes up from Lix. I'm wondering if Margugu's going to run out of stone eventually. He's only got 500 stone remaining there. The rest of the stone is outside the walls. Counterattack from Sito. Lix has to get the walls down on his wood line. Great walls there. And tower v tower again in this area. But it's all next to Margugu's economy. Second town center for Yo. He'll have to track these 2 knights. He does seem to see it. And he's still always having the potential to breaking through. Also still has a villager over here. And it'd be the most Yo thing ever to sneak a dock. Because Sito just kills everything and hard patrols to this corner, figuring he'll find everything. If Yo could sneak back up there again and Sito doesn't notice, game changer. And 11 fishing ships go down. This has been a fun one, man. France have the lead here. There's no doubt. Like, big eco for Margugu compared to Lix. Big eco for Sito. But can France claw the map control back along the front line? It feels like they probably can. The knights are chasing down Lix. Lix is going to lose these vills. And the towers are getting shot down here for Lix. Lix is going to have 10 vills exposed. Here, Margugu is just going to do what he can to keep the cav archers out. It's actually so well played. Like, this is one of Margugu's most impressive games of the tournament from just a strict, like, do what you have to do standpoint. Obviously, it's not going to be in any highlight reels or anything, but beautiful play to just match Lix's energy here. And also, Sito noticed the sneak dock. So, he is aware of this. His fishing ships should still get more value. They're over here anyways. Yeah, France is doing all the right things, guys. Look at Sito's economy now. 70 eco, 2 TCs, good eco upgrades. He's catching up a little bit in that regard. And, like, Lix is never, ever, ever going to make it to Castle Age at this stage. Because Knights are going to start to hit him, I think. Like, we're pretty close to a second, third stable situation for Sito. And then he just streams Knights into Lix's eco. These Knights right now are just being chased by the cav archers. But I think we'll see more upgrades, and I think we'll see some Knights soon. Now, Japanese CA are really strong, and if this is a 1v1 between Yo and Sito, I think Japanese are better than Persians, but it's a pretty nice lead for Sito to work with. Wow. Impressive. Impressive. I always felt like France was really good on this map. And I recall some other sets where they played. Do you remember that? Who was it? Oh, it was France-China. Yeah, it was actually Vivi and Yo against Sizcon and Sito on this map in the earlier rounds. And France had a crazy win there, where they definitely had fallen behind. Nice teamwork. Margugu repairs the mangonels. Down goes the tower. Bills for Licks are going to be exposed here. A couple raids here as well from Sito. He has to be careful with his night numbers, though. He hasn't been able to kill cav archers. So he really needs to be careful and ensure that he keeps his night numbers up. He doesn't allow those CA to do much. I think as long as you're walled along the front, though, the CA aren't going to do a ton. And spears. The 10 spears from Licks, preparing for the knights, I guess. They were ready to keep those Vils alive. But Margugu should be able to take down that tower. Wait, what? How is Yo... okay, Yo's finding some fishing ship kills. He doesn't have a dock anymore. So he must have sent them down here or something, and Sito just struggled to track them. Sito noticed that. He's just going to redock. Like, when you have this many TCs, the fish won't matter anymore pretty soon. But that's still a little surprising. Margugu is going to be in castle. I think Margugu he's the waller, and he's the boomer now. Like, you have done your job. It makes very little sense for you to try and help out against the cav archers. You're too far behind. So just whenever it's your time to come back into the game, you need to make sure that you are in a good spot to do so. So we'll probably just see a boom. Yo's fires kill quite a few fish, as he's going to just build a random monastery up here, snag some relics. And Yo might try and redock constantly, but ultimately it comes down to what happens in the middle here. Margugu drops TC2. Probably will follow with TC3. Yep, he's going to do exactly what we said. Just boom. He'll be back later. Maybe go for Eagles. Maybe go for Arbalest. Whatever makes sense at the time. But this is Yo versus Sito, and Sito has a 30 eco lead, man. The fishing ships and then the Persian fast-producing town centers. I wonder if Yo converted those fires moments ago, by the way. I think that makes a lot of sense that he would have done that because he didn't have the docks. Yo sees the redock, or Sito does, sorry, and he's just going to try and deal with this again. Almost feels like Sito is just going to go imp here. I thought maybe we'd see big army numbers, take full map control, and try and kill off Licks. He hasn't really gone for army at all. And guys, if you don't go for army against Licks, I think you know what's coming. Licks is going to take that map control and say, hello. Castle on your face. Beat that, Margugu. And now Margugu's probably panicking a little bit because this could get really bad. All of his towers could get shot down. Huskarls could be in his eco. This could be a pain. Like the outposting down here from Margugu, because this gold becomes really valuable later. Both teams did that. Right, like just great understanding of the map, both these teams. You can tell Sito he doesn't want to give any chances for the opponent to come back on water, because he's even adding galleys now. That's crazy investment to keep the fish alive. Cav archers got into the base of Sito and did a lot. I mean, this group has 20 kills, 11 eco. And Sito still hasn't clicked up. He's going to make camels, and he's making siege to defend. Yo's going to be an imp in a minute, guys. If Yo can also get a forward castle down with imp, he will treb back Margugu. And the 4-0 dream is still alive here for China. Yo is going to say it was never dead. The camels, great against cav archers if you can get the upgrades, but they do cost a lot of food and gold, which delays your imp time. And I've said this a lot about Persian. Sometimes it feels like you have no resources when you're trying to keep your TCs producing with them. Because to keep your 5 TCs producing all the time, that is so much food. You're never going to have that 1,000 food banked. I would hate to be Margugu right now. This is this is just something else, dude. Poor Margugu. He's had a great game, but this is just so freaking funny. Sato's going to see Imp from Yo and probably freak out a little bit and then balance his eco to go Imp as well. Look at the farms he's adding. He's added like 20, 30 more farms, a bunch more onto gold. And yeah, now he clicks up. I think France could still be okay because the castle for Yo isn't up yet. If this castle was up already producing trebs, that's a much bigger problem. They still have stone walls here. Guys, what do Aztecs make in this matchup? Like, I don't think that Aztecs were picked for this type of scenario. I think they were picked for the start and maybe even for the mid game. But what type of army are we going to see? There's a ram here from Sato on the castle. And now the Cav Archers and the Huskarls are going to start to break through, and Margugu's going to drop another tower. Everyone says no joke Jags. I mean, Jags would be good if you're just up against Goths. That's not good if there's Cav Archers, right? I think you could still go, like, Arbs. For now, you might just go Trebs. Oh, man, there go the CA right through for Yo. He has Imp upgrades, and he wants to take advantage of that. And so there he goes. There's not a lot of army for Sato because Sato was not expecting that there was going to be an army in here. They thought they walled it out. And Margugu's still sacrificing tons of lives to keep it walled out if he can. He actually, did he just wall in the Cav Archers? Did he just... Oh! He kind of did. I don't know if that's great, though. I think you actually want to delete the walls, yeah? Because you need to kill them. The walls help the Cav Archers. And oh no! There's Trebs from Yo! Margugu's castle's gonna fall. Sato is going to go for lots of knights. He needs to snag upgrades. He's going to be harassed nonstop. The Huskarls actually got through to Margugu's eco. Margugu's going to make it to Imp. But guys, it's just the harassment is crazy. And look at Lix. Lix has 83 vills. He's booming? How is Lix on 80 vills right now? That's crazy. Just always applying pressure. And we saw it in the Nomad game, how if he needs to, he can also play a standard Age of Empires 2 game. The opening's been ridiculous. It's all on Sato now. Margugu's out of the game. Margugu needs to be the best emotional support teammate he can possibly be from here on out. You've got this, Sato. Sato, have I ever told you how epic you are? You're so... Well, maybe you shouldn't... I don't know what a French compliment is, right? I don't know what they say. You eat baguettes the best. Whatever it is, you have to say that now. I'm kidding. You actually just shut up in these scenarios. Don't ask me how I know. Just don't distract. You try and be an extra pair of eyes to point out certain things, but that's pretty much it. Don't shower your teammates with compliments. Lix is going to be an imp with Goths. And the only player that China are going to have to kill is Sato now. And if that's the case, you can go full Halb. And full Halb with Goth's production speed and how cheap it is could be really strong. Sato has got that economy. He's going to have Savar in 1 minute. But in 1 minute, Lix will be an imp as well. And for now, it's heavy CA for Yo, and Yo's able to hold the line because they have these castles here. A couple raids here from Sato. That's being tracked by Lix's pikes. A couple raids here from Sato as well. Yo will eventually deal with that, but that's a great distraction. Sato will push Yo back a little. But again, it's the castle fire. It's all the army. And Margugu, the only thing he can contribute with is monks. This is just crazy showing of the final weekend from China. That like they were not this dominant in the early rounds. And they just found another gear in the semifinals and the finals to show the whole world that they are clearly the best. And it's not even close. It's not even a discussion, apparently. Now, Halb isn't in just yet, so this is their best moment to fight with Savar. But there's barracks around, and now Halb is in. And it's Goths, man. I mean, Goths with 100 Vils can spam Halbs all day. And nice snipe there from Sito to snipe another Treb. There is that. There's Savars headed this way to get some raids. But this is going to be the same result that China had in the semifinals against Brazil. If this doesn't... I mean, I don't see how it changes. I would love to sit here and find a way back. They can't really raid China all that easily from this position because of them holding the front line. And the army composition, it's just not going to be good enough for Sito. He can't do it all alone here. Skirms is a nice choice. It's a really nice choice. It's not in time, and they're Persian skirmishers we're talking about. This is before we even see the potential of Huskarls, which we haven't talked too much about with the Goths. 60 Japanese Cav Archers fully upgraded. And then the Goth Flood to follow now for Blix. No real activity on the backside. Pointage now. I think Sito's thinking he needs to get Margugu into the game somewhat. But China's just thinking, how do we lose? Well, we lose if we lose out on this gold. So he builds a castle there. They might even full stonewall the backside. I think that's another thing that could come to mind. Just boom, stonewall. That's the only way you lose. You don't lose in the middle. You don't lose in the south now. But how can France justify raiding when this is happening on the front? The Cav Archers and the Halbs. I mean, those Halbs are actually going down pretty quickly. But it's still a great cost-effective army, as the Halbs don't cost gold. The Monks cost gold. The Savar cost gold. You see the desperation now for Sito, selling what he can to get gold. And it's not enough. And China win the tournament. They win 4-0. What a weekend for them. So freaking good, man. I mean, no other way to say it. The best teams in this tournament coming in were seen as like maybe Canada and Finland, as they were two of the invited teams. But they didn't have all their players play, and things weren't looking too sharp for them. After that, you're looking at Brazil and China. And then, of course, there was France, there was Argentina. There were some great teams in this tournament. But I mean, China went up against Brazil, and they swept them. And then they went up against France, which was the other team that, which was one of the teams, just like Brazil, that made it directly to the semifinal because they didn't lose much in the earlier rounds, and they swept them as well. And what I love, guys, what I love is the diversity that we saw China put on display today. They had Vivi go in, and they had him win the 1v1s and play very well. Like, he played like a beast, a crazy beast. Very Vivi-esque performance. You then had Lix and Vivi carry Yo on Nomad. Like, Yo had to relocate. They still got the job done there. Here, Lix went for his crazy patented Vil Rush craziness style. Got the job done as well. And I'm missing one. The 4v4 arena, Bad Koala had that crazy fast imp into forward bomber cannons. It was 30 pop fast imp from the pocket into forward bomber cannons. It was crazy. It was just crazy. Undoubtedly the best team, not even close. And I love that because China's always been great, but they never really like stepped up with all their players, and they never really stepped up with the prep like it felt like they did for this tournament. So just straight up deserved win. Also, I'd love to see a bunch of salutes for France, please, because there are times where you can question a team when they get swept, but there are other times where you just have to look across, you know, the map or the draft or the computer, and you just have to say, they bested us today. They just did. China just had that next step. I didn't think France performed well below their level. They will probably find a lot of things they would have wanted to do differently. But like, China just played amazing. And France had a great tournament and gave some entertaining games and exciting times for France going forward too. So I always need to say that when a sweep happens, but particularly with France, I think they should still hold their head up high because China just bested them on the day. Second place is still a great achievement. So, well played. Oof.